Hi everyone, my name's Carly. I'm the Community Activation and Learning Officer for Melton City Council based at the Kurunjang Community Hub. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple 4-ingredient marmalade using some leftover oranges that I've got. You can use any leftover citrus that you have at home, lime, lemon, grapefruit, whatever it is. But today I'm going to be using the oranges. So to start the marmalade, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your citrus and slice them up. Now you can slice them as thick or thin as you like. It all depends on how thick or thin you want your marmalade to be. The one thing to be aware of is though to get rid of all the pips. So I'm gonna slice mine, I'm gonna do a mix of thick and thin. So some I'll do in some thicker chunks like this, and then some other ones I'll do thinner so there's a bit of texture in the marmalade. Once you've cut all of your citrus up and taken out all the pips, they go into a saucepan with the sugar, the vanilla, and the water, and you bring them to a boil. Now, if you've got any oranges that have any blemishes on like this, just chop that bit off, and then you can still continue to use the rest of it. You can leave a couple of the seeds in there if you like. Like if you miss a couple of them, it's not a big deal because the pectin in those seeds is what will help just thicken that marmalade anyway. Now there's pectin in the pith as well, which is why you don't need any jam setting sugar or any pectin artificially added to this recipe. But yeah, obviously you prefer to not have pips in your marmalade and jams, so pick out as many as you can, but you'll obviously miss a few, and that's okay. Okay, so once you've sliced up the oranges, you just add the water, sugar, and vanilla. Now the vanilla is an optional extra. You don't have to add that if you don't like it. It just does add it. It actually helps it have like a creamier taste. And keep in mind that I've actually doubled the quantities of the recipe today. So there is 2 cups of sugar in this and 2 cups of water and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So again, like I said, you don't have to add the vanilla if you don't want to. So what you want to do with the mixture, so the sugar, water, vanilla and citrus mixture, is bring it to a boil. So just keep stirring it and keep an eye on it. Now once it's been brought to the boil, turn it down to low and let it simmer. And you'll notice that as it simmers, it will thicken. Now the thickening process will take between 30 and 40 minutes depending on how much pectin's in your oranges and how big your batch is. So just keep an eye on it, but while it is simmering, you can prep your sterilized jars to be able to put the mix in once you're finished. So I'll show you how to do that now. Now, while you're waiting for your marmalade mixture to thicken and get to setting point, this is when you can sterilize your jars that you're going to put the marmalade in. So you just wash them in hot soapy water and then just let them drip dry for a minute or two, and then while they're still wet, place them in an oven that's been preheated to about 105 degrees Celsius, and you place them in that oven upside down like they are here on the tray, on the drying rack, sorry, and you'll place them in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, and that's how they'll sterilize. So we'll place ours in the oven now, and I'll show you how the placement is. Okay, so the oven's come to temperature. It's at about 105-ish degrees. So I've just placed the wet washed jars and lids inside on the tray upside down. So we'll leave them in the oven now for about 15 minutes and we'll take them out then. Okay, so now you can see that this has come to the boil. So just keep stirring it a little bit and turn it all the way down to low. And now you can let it simmer for about 30 or 40 minutes while it thickens. So you'll notice it darkens in color as well and it'll thicken up. So once that 35 or 40 minutes is up, it should be thick in a jammy consistency. Now you can use a candy thermometer to check if it's at setting point. Now the setting point for jam and marmalade is generally about 105 degrees Celsius, or you can do a jam plate test. So I'll show you how to do the jam plate test as well once this has come to its thickening setting point. Okay, so as you can see, this is cooked down quite a bit now. Now, because I doubled the recipe, it's been cooking for probably close to an hour now. So it's cooked down quite a lot. It's thickened quite a bit and it's darkened a lot as well. So I'm just using a thermometer to test the temperature. And as you can see, it's going up quite quickly and it's hitting 105, which is the setting point for jam and marmalade. Now I've used a thermometer to test the temperature of this marmalade. Now if you don't have a thermometer, you can use what they call the jam plate test. So it just means that you get a dollop of your jam. I can turn that off now, or marmalade, whatever it is. So you grab a cold plate that's been in the freezer for about 5 minutes. So I've just taken this out, so it's very cold. And you just grab a little bit of the liquid. You put that on the plate. And if you just drag your spoon through that, see how the jam's actually separated and it doesn't fall back in on itself, it means that the jam is set. So if that was falling in on itself after you scraped it, then it would mean that it's not ready. But as you can see, that is quite a jammy consistency, so you're ready to go with that. So you can put that in your sterilized jars. So a little bit earlier while it was cooking, I sterilized these jars. So they were kept upside down in the oven and they're at a good temperature now to handle. So as you can see, they're very clean and shiny and they've been sterilized. So we can add the marmalade to those now. Okay, so that's cooked down and is a very thick consistency now, very jammy, and it's darkened up quite a bit. So you just now spoon this into your jars of choice. And this will keep in the fridge for about 10 days. Now you can freeze it as well. The only thing that will happen when you freeze it is, probably better off using a tablespoon. Then when you go to thaw it out, the fruit pieces will be a little bit mushier than the original consistency when you made it. But that will only help to the jam consistency as well. So just spoon it all in. And then the heat from the jam will also help set those jars and just seal it a little bit as well. So I don't fill it all the way to the top, leave a little bit of a gap, and you'll feel that the jar is quite warm as well. And you can just push that marmalade down a little bit as well so there's no air pockets in there. And there's your little jar of homemade marmalade. So here's the 2 finished jars. So that amount of ingredients yielded these 2 jars here. The recipe and the instructions on how to make that, how to sterilize your jars, and also the jam plate test to check when your jam or marmalade is set will be below this video on our YouTube channel. It's the Melton Learning Director YouTube channel. So have a look on there if you're looking for any other activities to do while in lockdown. Thank you for watching today, and I hope you enjoy your marmalade.